But if the press were actually doing its job, you'd be hearing a lot about the Bloomberg New Economy Forum, which has been going on all week, attended by modern-day global leaders and wealthy elites who supported Joe Biden. And they're so confident in their agenda, so buoyed by what they see as the defeat of the America First movement, that they aren't even trying to hide their disdain any longer for American sovereignty.
Were you surprised by how badly America has done on that? Very quickly.
Oh, it's mind-blowing.
When the Paris Agreement came into force, the United States withdrew from it and left us and all the other countries around the world disappointed.
The marketplace is encouraged by having a leader now that is more inclusive.
Inclusive. Of course, if they have their way, you're going to have no say in the future of the global economy, no way to affect it, no ability to change it. It's up to American patriots to oppose what they're trying to do at almost every turn. And that means supporting Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue in Georgia in that runoff on January 5th. And it means keeping pressure on Republican elected officials across the board. I mean, let's face it, before Trump, a lot of them were wrong on both trade and immigration. Got to keep an eye on them. And over the next 4 years, these Republicans are going to come under enormous media and financial pressure to appease the global elites. And make no mistake about it, the globalists are determined to ram through their agenda. And given Biden's age and mental acuity, or lack thereof, they probably feel like they have a very narrow window, very short window to achieve their grand designs. If Biden gets into office, get ready for the fight of your life over the next years. At every turn, they will try to subvert your rights and take your prosperity. To start, they're going to crater your personal finances with insane climate policies.
We need a whole economy transition, backing those who are part of the solution and taking capital away from those who are part of the problem.
A cap and trade mechanism or some kind of carbon tax.
An active carbon market with a carbon price that would continue to step up in level every year.
Guaranteed tax increases on energy would devastate the middle class, but they know that. The elites know that. That's their entire point, remember? Now, we made an appeal to AOC to work with us to stop some of these types of crushing globalist deals. But Bloomberg and his pals are really smart. They know exactly the kind of rhetoric that's needed to win people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez over.
Climate change is going to kill us all. If we're waiting for things to be delivered in 2050, we're not going to be around to see them.
Well, we don't have a lot of time. It's somewhere between 10 and 20 years. We need to invest now.
We don't have 10 or 12 years to build new power stations. We need them in 18 months.
On trade, which we highlighted earlier this week, Bloomberg and his globalist cronies made clear in a special report what their overriding goal is: sticking together by guarding against the risk of the U.S. and China decoupling. Oh, they don't want that. Bloomberg and lots of other American plutocrats have billions tied up in China. So decoupling from the communist regime would be a disaster for them personally, even though it would be a huge boon to American industries and American workers. Now, on COVID, billionaires like Bill Gates could barely hide their excitement for what a Biden presidency might bring.
As people come into the country, do they have a digital certificate that says whether they've been vaccinated or not? As the U.S. rejoins the WHO, this idea of what does the vaccine certificate look like, hopefully that dialogue will begin.
Show me your papers. Now, don't for a second think that you're going to have a seat at that table for this dialogue. You're just supposed to sit down and do what you're told, remember? Well, that's what Dr. Fauci told us anyway. Coincidentally, the Chinese CDC's chief epidemiologist had basically the same message yesterday.
In the Eastern culture, we have a community value is higher than the individual value. In the United States and European countries, the personal right is the top priority. The most important is everybody takes the order and follow the instruction.
Everyone take the order and follow the instruction, or else do what you're told. Mask up, open your wallet, distance, Get the vaccine certificate, give up your freedom, your autonomy, and do not under any circumstances ask any real questions. Doesn't that sound like a fun world to live in? Well, this is the type of mentality that will guide the Biden administration's COVID response. And of course, good old Joel will bend over backwards to appease the World Health Organization, a prospect that has emboldened World Health Organization head doctor Tedros.
The fastest way out of this pandemic is for us to work together in solidarity across sectors and across borders. Vaccine nationalism will prolong the pandemic. The pandemic has taken so much from us, but it has also given us something, the opportunity to think afresh about the world we want. We can build the healthier, safer, and fairer world we all want and build back better.
There it is. You think it's any coincidence that Tedros is borrowing Biden's campaign slogan, or who's borrowing from whom these days? It's a signal that they're all on the same team. They all have the same end goals. Individualism and individual rights will be subverted, sublimated to the global rights, the communal rights. And it's a sign that Joe Biden won't put America first. He's not out to make America better, and he won't make that his first priority. He's got to do the bidding of Bloomberg, Wall Street, big business, and the rest of the special interests that bankrolled his campaign. And of course that means kowtowing to the elites who don't give a damn about jobs and wages for Americans. They never did. That's why it's imperative that we hold the Senate next year. Because with a majority in that chamber, plus our gains in the House, we actually have a chance at thwarting this kind of takeover of the levers of power from our government to a government far, far away. And we can make sure that the America First movement continues to deliver results that our citizens and we can use to build a future where our children can actually thrive under the system of government and with our inalienable rights that we all love and cherish. And that's the angle.